Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and our continuing series on Hollywood Animal. Last episode you saw we had a police raid actually that came in and raided our studio, took some money from my personal cash and didn't find any contraband on site. This episode we're going to go a little further into potentially how to prevent those and maybe even some other friends actions that we can take. We're going to try to get some more movies in the pipeline, and we're going to continue through this creation of these movies and trying to get them produced. We're going to see if we've got someone here. We do not, to get this one going yet. So we've got one out in theaters right now. This one was an okay movie. This was Adventure Time. We're going to clear up some of our tasks as well, I think, in this episode. We're hitting 75% audience attendance on this 2,000 screenings for this. I think we're going to probably extend this run as we have just another week left yet. And we've got 24 days before this one's ready. We've got another 30 days before this one even hits post-production, another 75 for this one, and we have nothing really lined up in the queue. So we're going to fast forward time a little bit. Yeah, so 36%. So it's just a little over a third of 1,700 theaters or screenings. So I think a third of that is probably about 600 or so. I think we're going to put this in 500 theaters on this extended run. 350, 250, and then 100 theaters. Not 1,000, 100. And we're not going to extend the advertising on that. We're going to let that play through, though. We're just over 5 million in the coffers of the studio. Gonna see if we have any. Our thriller writer is still on holiday, so we'll have a script for him ready when he gets back. We don't have an actor yet, I think, for this one until at least this movie is ready for post-production. So we're going to continue here. So, all right, we really fell off here. For some reason, we only got 7% of the 500 theaters we were in. So that's not as good as I had hoped. All right, so our writer is back. We're going to slow down here, get him on this thriller. And then this episode, I think what we're going to do too is we're going to start, one, we're going to need to clear up some of these. I think we're going to be fine with clearing some of these up. And we're about to hit the completion here on this one. So we increased it a little bit. Still not great. A 3.0 and a 2. So they got some experience. Again, these have absolutely nothing to do with the movie. How well it'll do, that kind of thing. So, and we need 6 weeks for printing. We're going to take this to 2250, 1750, and 950. Standard film print. And then, of course, our advertising. You can see that in this earlier stage of the game, you have to really give it some lead time on these ads in order for you to hit 100% kind of in the middle of your showing. So, and that's going to take 42 days. Well, all right, we did a big jump here, 61% on 350 showings, and you can see we only dropped about $100 there, so that's actually pretty good. We did drop now, though, down to 45% on this previous showing. I don't think we're going to end up with a money maker here on this one, unfortunately. We've got about 5 days left, In filming here, we've got a new script that's done, 2.9 and a 2.7 out of 5. Not great. Not bad, but not great. And we're going to use him in that one. City Interiors, Movie Theater, Station, Hotel. Don't have a lot of scenes here, so filming technology, the sound technology. We're going to try to boost it with some of these. They have 93 days left. Let's see how much they're going to want to extend their time. 26,000 seems a little expensive, so we're going to go with the person that's got a little more. And so this, we have nobody for an evil witch. And this is a pretty low level person. This one here looks good for the amount of money that we're going to need. Again, we're going to get her for three movies. Been doing that the whole time, other than the one person that we did on time, but we're going to start that project. So that one is up here already going. This is the announcement that the old sound technology is no longer going to be supported. It has reached end of life, so it's no longer serviced. We weren't using this anyway. He wants a little time off. We're going to give that to him. And all right, we dropped again. If only this would have made a little bit more money. I don't think there's a reason to leave it out in the theaters. We're only hitting 38% out of 100 screenings, which means, you know, we're looking at 35 screens. There's no point in doing that and less in order to try to ride that out, in order to try to make money on that. So we are going to send that to the archive. I think we're going to potentially renew this guy for 3 more movies at just under 9,000, so under 3,000 a movie. Now, he wasn't a great actor, but this guy's a little more expensive, so let's see what he's going to charge us for a couple more movies. 53,000 after our successful collaboration discount for 3 movies, less than 20K a movie, and he is a 6'4", so I think we're going to take that. We'll extend him, and this is something now, because we did a film shooting period exceeding 100 days and 5 films shot with the HES Pro 35. We now have the ability to get the HES Pro 35 Extra in our camera technology. So we're going to get that and use that for upcoming movies. This one really dropped a bit. So this one's going to be not a very good movie. We had a couple of reasons why it stopped for 20 days. We had some loyalty to the studio, and filming was slowed. So we're going to start post on this. Not putting folks on here that are really overly qualified. We want to save some money on this because it's not a very good movie. I don't anticipate it making a lot of money, so there's no point in spending a lot of money. And so let's see if we have... So... guess we could use him. We don't have a sound stage, but this guy likes to shoot on location, and that is indicated here, right? So he's on location. He's better at filming on location. So we're gonna get this. We've got to get this going. And here's the new camera technology. You can see the quality is a little better, the practicality is better, the economy is better. It's actually cheaper if you saw that. It's actually a little more expensive to use on a per day basis, but we're going to use that new one. Plenty of crew and everything. Producer, we just hired him back, so we're going to get him. Going to get him in a movie. So these are our folks that we have currently. He's not going to be done in time. We're going to put him in because we don't need necessarily to spend any more money on that movie. We've got, a couple of other movies here. We need to get the Carpenter movie out. Which one was that, though? I thought we had last time. Yeah, okay, so she's in this movie here that's in post, or getting ready actually to be distributed. So that's going to take care of that one. We've got to take care of the Alcohol, the Spirit of Freedom, and the Corrupt Official. And we don't have anyone to write that script, so we're going to hold off on that. And what we'll do is we'll combine these two actually into one movie in the Story Workshop. Boy, that is not a good movie either. So, and he's one of our better writers, unfortunately. So that might have just been the idea. All right, so our adventure writer is the one just finished up. We do have another adventure, but we can go to the Story Workshop and let's get the Drunk Mayor. So this is going to be the Corrupt Official and the Alcohol. So it's an adventure drama and a little more adventure than drama, I guess. Actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. Even though he's not a drama writer, let's do Modern American Town. And so last episode we went through and if you recall, there was some emphasis on some story elements that were potentially fresh and or stale, that kind of thing. And if you recall, it mentioned that there were some stale elements. Well, you can, as we highlight over these, first thing you see is whether or not it's a fresh story element or not. And then the numbers underneath indicate how many movies have been made recently in the last 500 days with that particular element, right? So this one here is really fresh because there hasn't been any movies in the last 500 days. So let's do this along with our Corrupt Official, and then we want to do, so now we've got both of those tasks completed, and Working Man, so we've got the alcohol thing. We want to maybe struggle for a better life. So we've got 4 of the 7 elements configured. Maybe there is a supporting character, a love interest maybe. So we've got 5 elements. Unrequited love, and then the antagonist. Let's see. Protagonist gets chance for a better life. Sweethearts stay together. Let's do that one, I guess. That doesn't sound very adventurous, however. In fact, we don't really have a whole lot of adventure in here. So maybe we need to go back. Maybe there's a love triangle. I don't know that that's an adventure either. That's not really... Okay. I'm going to get the adventure writer on this. That doesn't look to be a very adventure toned movie, but we're going to go with it. All right, so action. We got a little bit of an increase on the popcorn score here, but the artistic value went down a little bit. But we're going to start to get this one made. We're going to assign a security personnel for that one, and we're going to get this one going as well. This one increased a little bit too. So, and again, okay, so we don't have any security personnel anymore, and I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to get that in production as well. And remember, like I said before, what we really want to do is we want to kind of get where we're getting a pipeline into, some scripts being written, some pre-production work, production work. Everything is kind of flowing through. And here's the mayor with his daughter's movie. And so now he's our friend, right? So we talked a little bit last time about the police raid, and I showed a little bit about the protection from the police raid. So as you do these friends, there are things that you're presented with that you could potentially use. Now, had we had him as a friend earlier, we potentially could have used that experienced lawyer in that lawsuit that we lost, right? The other thing is that these favors here will allow you to get additional points here to use for something later on with this particular individual. Those don't go from person to person. And we've got a C minus and not very well received. Head of distribution did level up. We're going to use that for the studio speed up. Got a couple of other folks here that got some experience. Nobody else leveled up. It is all fresh story elements. We did spend a little bit of money on that movie, but, and this is what I was saying just a minute ago, as this ends, this will be over here getting ready for distribution. Problem is realistically what we would want would be is that it would be ready. All right, so unfortunately, she is not going to be happy at all here because we don't have a choice. We don't have production support, and I don't have $1,000 in my cash, so we wouldn't be able to find her a different place. She's going to have to bunk where we put her, and she's not going to be happy about that. So we're going to speed up time a little bit here. Okay, so we made 57% of our 3,185 screenings. So we did not do well that first week, but we haven't had the full effect of the ads yet, right? Next week is the full effect of the ads. We do drop, though, 900 screens, so we'll have to see what happens there. And the actress is demanding an explanation of the logic of witchcraft in the film, otherwise she won't be able to portray a believable witch. The problem is the scriptwriter was inspired by obscure medieval manuscripts. So at this point, what we need to do is we need to figure out who we want to upset more. Do we want to take Karen Holmes' loyalty down by 20? This is the loyalty here, so take it down by 20. She'd only be at a 26 there. This one is the director will explain everything somehow. Probably this will take Anthony Campbell's happiness down by 20. This is his happiness, so he wouldn't be happy at all. And this one would be, it's the producer's job to deal with these kinds of things. His happiness, Vincent Jenkins, his happiness will decrease by 20. Well, that's the best outcome there. And again, we're going to speed time up a little bit here. And we've got another problem on set. Okay, Ricky Simmons is refusing to share the killer's backstory and motives with the film crew. He's sure someone will let it slip to the press, but Albert Burton is insisting on details to make the character more convincing. And again, we're presented with a couple of choices here. Ricky Simmons' loyalty will decrease by 15, and filming will stop for 10 days. If it's no big deal, let him cool off. He'll come back. And this is his loyalty here. Give him what he wants. So Albert Burton's happiness will increase by 30, but Ricky Simmons' loyalty will decrease by 20, and then force him to work because we have security on the set, but that will decrease Albert Burton's happiness by 30. So the best one here really is this one here. At least that's what I believe. We do have a scouting office we could build, which would give us those better locations. And I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to build the scouting office, again, with that middle tier construction, a little over 30 days before that comes online. So second week, it only dropped to 40% of our 2,200 screenings, but you can kind of see our dollars are going down a lot quicker than this negative profit. With a Shield, this movie didn't change any. So I guess that's good in one sense, bad in the other. And we don't have an editor. And last we looked, okay, so we do have an editor here that we could hire. That's a 5.4 for $8,200 a month. We're going to hire that person for this one, just for this one, and then we'll probably, once they're done, we will let them go. We're starting post-production on that one. We have a couple of scripts being written, nothing in pre-production as of yet. We've got 2 in post, 1 currently being distributed out at theaters right now. And one of our screenwriters came back from vacation. So let's see, what do we have here? We're going to get him on the detective story that's out there. So now we're going to have 3 stories kind of going. 1 from the story workshop. This was the story workshop script that we were writing. This is one of the ones that came from the idea, and that's the one we just started. And this one's getting ready to finish up its current run. So we didn't lose any audience, going down to 950 screens, although we still only 27%. So we really did lose audience, and we're just not going to make this amount of money up. So we're going to go ahead and end the distribution on that. We're going to take another hit to our points up here, our reputation, because we don't have a profitable movie. So 18 days before the scouting office is done. 2 days left for this movie in post-production. So this one's ready to go. Let's see where post got us to. So it increased a little bit on the... Increased both a little bit. Again, this is very similar ratings to the movie that we just finished the run on. So going to be right after Thanksgiving. So 500 there, 2,000 there, 1,500 there. I don't think it's going to do that great, so I don't want... Need to have the ads. The ads certainly increase. So this is the scandal that was part of this movie. We need to apologize. It hurts our reputation. We're going to release the film. So that one won't be released before this one will be ready to send to distribution as well. We've got 15 more days on one script, 28 days left on the other, 9 days left on our scouting office, and we're down under 4 million in the account, as you can see. Okay, so we just finished our compromising information from our security department. So this will give us the opportunity to potentially get more experience for additional information. We can work on the accelerated training. We can work on repelling an attack, more experience. We can work on secret keepers, or we can work on potentially some of these offensive operations. Also, this is more of a surveillance kind of a thing, and this will give us an idea of what illegal tendencies people have, both in our studio as well as other studios, so we could potentially see, maybe dig up some dirt on some folks. And our scouting office is now complete. And okay, so this is the head of the Gerstein Brothers studio, kind of going into the last time we talked. Learned some things back when he was a kid. Politicians, priests, and the do-gooder hypocrites. He's basically talking, giving me some advice, and he says that there's good news on the way. And we're going to wait with bated breath. Okay, we have a new script that's a stinker. We're not going to use that. We're going to shelve it. We can't produce that. And that was our thriller writer. We've got a producer here that is out of time. 33,000 for 3 movies, 30,000 with my discount, so 10,000 a movie. Why not? Okay, another scandal has come up. Goodness. All right, we have no thriller out here. David Gutman wants some time off. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to have him research for a new story element as we get ready to have The Drunk Mayor ready for pre-production. This movie here is ready for distribution. We went down a little bit in post. And we'll just choose that one. This one, we're going to move right here. I don't think this one's going to be extended. I don't see how this one I don't see how I would extend this one. It's a 3-1, so if I do extend it, we'll have some theaters available after this week here. I don't see how I can extend that one. I don't think that one's going to make us any money, regardless of how long it runs. So we're going to have back-to-back movies coming out, and we've got another one that's getting ready to be done here. Okay, we've got a script here with The Drunk Mayor. That's a pretty good script. 6.2 and a 6.6. So that's a pretty good script. So this one is definitely going to get made. We may have to hire some folks for this one because this one's going to deserve all sorts of attention here. All right, so this is all 2-star locations, and part of that has to do with the fact that we have now a scouting office built, right? So now this is all 2-star locations. Here's our new film technology. We're going to give everything we can to this movie. We're going to potentially have to hire a producer. So, kind of looking for one that's going to be a 7. There's a 6.3, but that's not quite good enough. Here's a 7.9. That's fairly inexpensive for one movie. So that's what we're going to do. Get them in for one movie. They're going to do this one movie for us, and that's going to be it. Director, we have him for one more movie, so we might as well have him on it. Him for one more movie. Do we have an actress out here that is at least a 6 or a 7? That's inexpensive enough. She's an 8, and she's a star, so she's going to be in our movie. $35,000 for a star for one movie. And she's an 8. So she's not typically in this kind of a genre nor this kind of a role, but we're going to go with it. It was a little much, I think, for him. Okay, so we dropped a little bit on this one. A little more than a little bit, actually. So one of our actresses leveled up. Our cinematographer leveled up. Yeah, this is all kinds of badness here. That's why it dropped. And so, again, no point in wasting the better talent on this kind of a movie. We're going to reserve those better writers in that. Okay, so this is a 4.2 cinematographer, wanting $29,900 for 3 movies. So that's basically $10,000 a movie. So we're going to keep him on board. Director seems a little high, but let's see what he is charging us per movie, especially for a 3.6. So $30,000 basically for 3 movies. We'll go ahead and take him for now. So here's our public relations executive. Talking about Jean Graham has been doing a lot of interviews lately. However, she's been going way off script. She said she would treat our extras like farm cattle. Maybe we could make it so that she stops giving interviews. So we've got a couple of options here. One is that we could ask the editors of the newspapers and magazines to blacklist her. That's going to cost us 60 influence points to do that. We can ask her not to give any more interviews. That will decrease her loyalty by 30. Or we could say, well, who are we to forbid her from talking? But that's going to take another hit to our reputation by 30. I think what we're going to do is use these influence points to the best of our ability here. And for this director, I think I'm out for now. Again, the thing is we want to make sure that, okay, this guy wants $7,800 a month for 6 years, and that I just can't afford that. So we lost a executive, so we're going to come out here and grab another one here. This guy's only here for 3 years, but 16. That's the reason why. I mean, you're saving $6,000 a month. And our protection has ended from raids, and then also our service that we had asked the police to raid the Gerstein Brothers studio has ended as well. And it says, thanks to endless police raids for the past 6 months, Gerstein Brothers suffered substantial losses, and the daily life of their employees came to resemble an endless hell. So we could do that again. We could we've got 25 goodwill points here. We could extend for another 6 months protection from some police raids, and I think that's exactly what we're going to do. The other thing is we could potentially let them raid our cinemas, rounding up illegals in the theaters for 6 months, and in return, we would get goodwill points for that. At this point, we're not in that desperate of a need yet for the goodwill points, so we're going to pass on that for now. And Hourglass is ready to be released, so we're going to release that one. C mark. Ideally, you'd like to see some of these hit 3 and 4 stars on these reviews, but unfortunately, our producer was maxed out. And that's kind of a high total there, too, 564,000. All right, we're going to see how much she wants. 345 for 3 years, or 205, which is 20,500 for 3 movies, plus we get a discount, so 18.6 for 3 movies. We'll take it. That's about 6,000 a movie. All right, so in this movie, action looks like Owen Hartman used to work as a fireman, so he easily kicks the door down during the fight scene. Doesn't look spectacular enough. So we could cut the scene. That lowers the film's commercial appeal. We could lower the film's artistic appeal, or we could order a stronger door. Filming will be slowed by 50% for up to 2 days, and it's going to cost us $300 from our studio funds. If we do this, we're going to pay for this later, and we'll see why. But this, I think, is probably the best option for this movie, because we don't necessarily want to lower the quality of the movie. So we're going to choose that one. And we're going to speed up time here. We've got one that's going to hit in 20 days, go to distribution. One in 22 days is going to have had its run. Okay, so this is the head of the mafia family, and he's talking about how he was taking his family to the cinema, and he wrote a book, the story of his life. He hired some professionals to turn the book into a script, and he'd like to have it filmed. He's willing to cover up to $1 million of the cost of the film, and that will go directly into our studio's accounts if we decide to make the movie. So we can do this here, read the script so it's part action, part detective, part drama. You can kind of see here some of the storyboards for this particular film. This is a mafia movie. Happening in a modern American city, hopeless romantic. There's a runaway. This is going over the elements, right? The themes and elements of the movie, or of the screenplay, I guess. There is a parent figure. There's an element there. And I'm going to kind of roll through this, as we are starting to get long in this episode again, and I didn't want it to go quite this long, but as you noticed, I didn't want this one to go as long. The antagonist is a criminal mastermind, and if you want to pause the screen at any point to read these, you're more than welcome to do so. The other option was at the beginning. You could hit the double arrow and skip the rest of the script reading. Once you've read it once or twice, it's all the same. It's the same story each and every time. So once you play through it, you kind of know the story. And what should come of this is that the movie ends up being, or the script ends up being about a 7-0 script, if memory serves. And then the antagonist gets killed. So there has been one movie made in the last 500 days with that story element. So if we release the film within 2 years, we could do that. We could say, I'm not interested in you or your writings, or we could say we'll release it with a prominent actor in the title role within a year. That doesn't seem likely. So what we're going to do, we're going to say we'll release it for 2 years, and then he's going to put $1 million into our account. So, and yeah, it's a 7-0. We're going to shelve it for now because I don't think we have anybody that can do it. And so this is what I was talking about before. The armored door was too strong for Owen. He injured his knee during the filming. So basically, filming is going to stop for 10 days while he rests his knee. Our financial executive wants $24,000 a month for the next 6 years, and we're going to pass on that. 3O cinematographer wants about $56,800 for 3 years. I'm going to be out on that. So again, our financial executive left us. We need to find another one. These guys don't have any ability to increase the speed of the studio or anything of that nature. So this guy here is $500 a month for the next 4 years. This guy is $600 for the next 5 years. So let's choose him. And the research, if you noticed, the research picks right back up where it was, whatever that department was working on. Okay, we're going to try. So our first week we had 100% attendance. That's pretty good. 293, we'll have to see. That's a little better than I thought that movie was going to do, to be honest with you. Okay, here's the mayor. And he's basically talking about some homeless people or what have you. And he says there's only one way to do what we need to do, and that is to tax the rich. I have not been able to have enough money to get the actors to sign the petition. So at this point, I've got to. And basically, what this is going to do, if we do this, we end the friendship with the mayor. Oh, no, we didn't. Okay. Well, in playthroughs in the past, it has. Okay, so we dropped down to 40%. So this movie might not make us any money after a great first week. So one of the things that you see I'm doing is I'm doing a lot of these. No, I'm out with regards to some of these folks. Keep in mind that's a salary decision, is what it is. Ooh, this one really dropped on the artistic appeal. All right, so drunk mayor, because of location, costumes, and props, and the cinematographer dropped. I'm going to put security on set. So we've got another one that's ready to go to distribution. So after post-production, it increased a little bit. Let's use that one. Okay, and so this one actually is a romance movie, and it's coming out over Valentine's holiday, so that might not be actually too bad. We're going to decrease, though. Give it 6 weeks for the printing. So now we're going to be going from movie to movie to movie. And hopefully we need to apologize there for that one. And we're basically out of points reputation points until we get another profitable movie. So this one actually went up, but we dropped 500 screenings. We did drop about $6,000 on this. It's got one more week to run. There's the end of the run. So actually, we might make money on this because now we're at 52%, and 52% is going to be about 750 screens. So we're going to extend the distribution here, and we're going to put it into 750 rental screens. So we have to rent those, right? Might not be a good idea. Let me look here. 71,000. Yeah, actually, it will be a good idea. So 750. You can see the cost here is going to be 13,000, right? So second week, we're going to use our own screens, 500 at 250, and then finally 100 on this one. We're not going to extend the ads, but we are going to extend the movie. This one's coming out. We've got another couple of days left for... Okay, so this is a B- movie. We should start to see a few more stars here. I was hoping to have 1 3-star in there at least. We didn't get it. So that one we'll have to see how that one does. I'm going to let this go for just one more week and we'll see where we're at. David Gutman, we're out with him. We didn't have any movies anywhere in the most successful films. Head of post-production wants a contract extension, $400 a month. I'm okay with that for 6 years. Head of distribution wants $1,200 a month for the next 6 years. I don't think $1,200 a month seems a little high. We could probably... And now we want $1,700. So no, we're going to say no on that one. The human resources executive, $500 a month for 6 years. Sure, that sounds fine. Head of distribution wants $1,200 a month. No. Okay, so we've got no head of department here. We need to hire a head. All right, stop. I need to get these department heads hired here. I'm going to rehire you, though, for 3 more movies. All right, why is everybody coming to me now? All right, hire department head. Okay, so again, now these guys do have the bonus, the boost for the upgrade, right? So first thing we want to take a look at is anyone that's a level 2, 4 years, 5 years. He's got a cash. So all of these guys do stuff with cash, not points. And so this is a level 2 guy, 4 year. Not much of a difference between the two of them. 4 year. Okay, well, we're going to go with the cheapest guy. All right, so that department now has a head. All right, let's get this one. All right, so we were able to, in filming, bring the movie back up a little bit. All right. Even though there was some red marks in there. Editor, I don't think we have... Yeah, there's no 6.0 editor. 5.5 was the highest, so that... We have a 5.4. There's no point in hiring one for the extra point. All right, let me pause this. Okay, did we lose somebody else? We did not lose anybody there. We did lose this guy here at the maintenance. He uses points, and he's the cheapest across the board. Entirely the cheapest. So we're going to hire him. And again, the research that was going on continues. Got another script coming up here. And this will be the last. This will be the last piece to this. Okay, so we spent 13,000 to rent 750 movie theaters. We had 40% capacity. We made 27,000. We're going to make money on this movie after all, because we don't need to rent any of them further. That was not a good movie, so we're going to shelve that one. Let's see what The Shield did. We had 100% attendance, so that's pretty good. All right. And I think what we're going to do is we're facing a difficult economic situation in the country. So the theater managers are offering to let people in for free if they can't afford a ticket. The system works like this. They got to show an unemployment certificate, which they can get at the labor exchange. If there's a free seat in the hall, they can watch a film without paying. What do you think? It would support the people, and you're not losing anything. No one's paying for the free seats. Neither one of this affects us, other than potentially maybe our standing with other theater alliance members, and that'll be coming up shortly. But I don't think I'm against it, since the seat's going to go empty anyway. Nobody's paying for it. And David Gutman is back from vacation. All right, so we're going to stop there. I think this episode, since it ran so long again. And again, I ask if you comment, like, subscribe, tell me what you like, what you don't like. I'm trying to keep these as short as I can, and it's not working out very well for me. But again, please let me know what you want to see, what you don't want to see. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks.